Good day once again, Captain RODIEN PACA. Today we'll finish Annex 1. We have discussed Annex 1 subsections 1 to 9. And to have a continuity, let me discuss on the latter part of subsection 9. Let's start. Annex 1 is about positioning and technical details of lights and ship. It is so technical. My God, it's so technical. Measurements, positioning, horizontal, vertical. But this is Annex 1 all about. Okay, so on the Annex 1, subsection 9, it was discussed, I have already discussed, there was a leniency on, they're talking about the side lights. The side lights is 112.5 degrees. Now, so in your directly ahead, it should be 0 north. It has 1 to 3 degrees practical cutoff. Okay, so that is from your dead ahead. However, in your 22.5 degrees above the beam, which is on your starboard side, is 1. It has a prescribed cutoff also, which is inside the prescribed sector, meaning inside 112.5 degrees, it is a 5 degrees, so 5 degrees decrease to 50%. Okay, so there is a practical cutoff of another 5 degrees, which is, it will become 112.5 plus 5, 117.5 degrees for a practical cutoff for a side light. If it is true with starboard side light, for green, it is also true with a red side light. Okay, so this is subsection 9, alpha 1 talks about. Also, I talk about the stern lights and the masthead lights. In fact, I have also discussed the practical cutoff, which is just exactly the same for the masthead light. So, in the onset, let me define. This is a masthead light, and this is the stern light below. Okay, what's the difference between this one? Actually, if you meet together these two subcircles, it will create a 360 degrees. Why? 225 for masthead, 135 for stern light. Okay, so but they have different prescribed sectors. So it's still the same. This Annex 9 section, Annex 1 section 9, subsection alpha 2 talks about the decrease of intensity within 5 degrees of the prescribed sector of the masthead light, both sides, including the starboard and the port. Why it is both sides? Because remember, masthead light is 225 degrees divided into 112.5 degrees, 112.5 degrees on both sides. That is the drawing all about. Okay, it's the same with stern light. Stern light is 67.5 degrees because it is 135. So both sides is 67.5 degrees. It's very easy. So the practical cutoff, the 50% reduction of its intensity happens 5 degrees before the end of the prescribed sector. But however, there's another 5 degrees for a practical cutoff. So if this is the exact, there's a leeway 5 degrees before, which is reduction of intensity, which is 50%. Then another 5 degrees for a practical cutoff. Very easy. Let's go with 10. 10 alpha. Okay, I'm gonna open another instance of this one because so that I can define clearly this one, and this is 10 alpha. Okay. The vertical sector of electrical light, as fitted with the exception of lights on sailing vessel underway, shall ensure that at least the minimum required intensity is maintained all angles from 5 degrees above and 5 degrees below the horizontal. Let's discuss this one. At least 60% of the required minimum intensity is maintained from 7.5 degrees above and 7.5 degrees below the horizontal. Okay, let's enlarge and discuss. Okay, this is what is Annex 10 Alpha all about. Okay, here there is, for example, a light on top. Okay, so the light on top at least 60% over the arc. You can see this one. Okay, 60% over the arc and at least 60% over the arc. So for example, the arc is, we're talking about horizontal thing. Okay, so 30%, 60% at least over the arc, it's 7.5 degrees, meaning the intensity is there 7.5 degrees. Okay, so if you go also, okay, this is 10. Okay, this is about the vertical sector. So if it is fitted, the minimum intensity maintained at all angles. So this is a 2D drawing, this is not a 3D drawing. So if it is round there, it's a 5 degrees to 5 degrees below the horizontal. Okay, so let's enlarge again so that we can explain properly. Okay, here at any lights, we're talking about side light, masthead light, all around light. I like to rediscuss again because it's not easy. At least over 60% over the arc, 60% over the arc, there is a 7.5 degrees requirement for the 60%. The minimum over the arc is 5 degrees. So the arc is actually given for this one. I'll use my mouse. No, arc is given. If this is the horizontal line, which is around flat line, the arc is 7.5 degrees above and 7.5 degrees below. 5 degrees above and 5 degrees below. What is 5 degrees? What is 5 degrees below and what is 5 degrees above? Okay, we're talking about in 10 alpha, the required minimum intensity. There is a required minimum intensity at all angles, meaning maybe you are looking at the back, you're looking at the front, the required minimum intensity is there. Okay, so it is at all angles 5 degrees above. This is the minimum. At least 60% of the required minimum intensity. Okay, 60% of the required minimum intensity can still be seen above 7.5 degrees and below 7.5 degrees. Why it is being discussed like this? Because you may be in a vantage situation. You are maybe in an angle around the vessel that the minimum intensity of the light cannot be seen anymore. So that's the rules, that there should be a minimum intensity at all angles. Meaning, if you buy the light, it should be able to cover the specified angles as required by Colregs. Okay, so this is 10 alpha. How about 10 bravo? Okay, 10 bravo, in the case of sailing vessel underway, the vertical sectors of electrical lights as fitted shall ensure that at least the required minimum intensity is maintained at all angles from 5 degrees to 5 degrees below the horizontal. Okay, you draw the horizontal line where the light is. 5 degrees and 5 degrees, required minimum intensity shall be there. Very easy to remember. At least 50% of the required intensity is maintained from 25 degrees above to 25 degrees to horizontal. Now, this is quite different. Remember, a while ago, we're talking about not a sailing vessel, but any vessel with side lights and all-around lights and masthead light. They talk about 60% intensity at 7.5 degrees. Here, in sailing vessel, it's only 50% maintained at 25 degrees above and 25 degrees below the horizontal. So this drawing, okay, this drawing that we show here in this animation, there's a broken light of horizontal lights. A broken light, why this is white over green? Because this is a sailing vessel. If it is green over white, it will become a trolling vessel. Remember, sailing is white over green. So if you draw the line on the white, no, this is just example. Draw a horizontal line crossing the white one. Then draw 25 degrees, then 25 degrees down. That is the 50% arc. We're talking about horizontal line. The minimum arc is still 5 degrees. 5 degrees above and 5 degrees below. Easy. A while ago in 10 alpha, Annex 1, 10 alpha, we talk about vessel which is not sailing vessel. This is a sailing vessel. Okay, now we talk with 11, subsection 11. Non-electrical lights shall, so far as practicable, comply with the minimum intensity so specified in a table given in section 8 of the Annex. For some reason, you cannot buy a non-electrical lights. However, the rules, they have some consideration. As long as you can, as far as practicable, comply with the minimum intensity requirements. Subsection 12. Okay. Subsection 12. Let me read the rules and let's rediscuss. Notwithstanding with the provision of this paragraph of this annex, the maneuvering light prescribed in Rule 30 shall be placed in the same fore and aft vertical plane of the masthead light where practicable at a minimum height of 2 meters vertically above the masthead light, the forward masthead light, provided it shall carry not less than 2 meters vertically above or below the after masthead light. Not less than 2 meters, okay. On a vessel where only one masthead light is carried, the maneuver light is fitted, shall be carried where it can be seen not less than 2 meters vertically apart from the masthead light. Let us enlarge and define. Okay. First, to avoid confusion, let me define first and foremost. Okay. The maneuvering light, the height of the maneuvering light, okay, is not less than 2 meters from the forward, okay, from the forward masthead light, okay. This very white light, okay, this very white light in the drawing, okay, in the drawing, these are considered as masthead light. Okay, masthead light. So if you're gonna read back the rules in rule 12, there's a masthead light, the maneuvering light, you can place in between the two masthead lights. Okay. However, there is a minimum requirement, at least at a height of 2 meters vertically above. Okay, so vertically above. The maneuvering light here in the drawing is colored gray. The masthead light is colored white. So at least the maneuvering light, if a vessel carries 2 masthead lights, the first maneuvering light, if you're gonna put it in between, okay, if you're gonna put it in between of these 2 masthead lights, must be at least 2 meters, not less than 2 meters from the forward masthead light. Okay, very clear. If less than 2 meters, then 2 meters over after the light. Okay. For example, you have only one masthead light, one masthead light. Then that masthead light And if you put the maneuvering light above it, the height must be not less than 2 meters from the above maneuvering light. If there is one masthead light only, like this drawing, not less than 2 meters again, above the masthead light. How about two masthead lights? Two masthead lights you want to put in between, you make the forward masthead light as reference, not less than 2 meters. How about I want to put it near the above masthead light? No problem, not less than 2 meters over, above the afterlight. How about I have only one masthead light? Over again, not less than 2 meters. This is maneuvering light. Where two masthead light is carried, this is this vessel, and when only one masthead light is carried. Very simple. Okay? You can now see very simple discussion on how this discussion is being done. Let's continue. Rule 13. The masthead light of high-speed craft may be placed at a height related to the breadth of the craft, lower than the prescribed in paragraph 2 alpha 1 of this annex, provided that the base angle of the isosceles triangle formed by the side lights and the masthead light when seen and in elevation is not less than 27 degrees. Okay. For a high-speed craft, there is a requirement for the placing because they run very fast. So there is not less than 27 degrees if you're gonna form the masthead light and the side lights in an isosceles triangle. What do you mean isosceles triangles? They are equally spaced. Okay. On a high-speed craft of 50 meters or more in length, the vertical separation between foremast and main masthead lights of 4.5 meters required by paragraph 2 alpha of this annex may be modified. Okay. Remember, in the two masthead lights, you must have a 4.5 meters requirement distance on two masthead lights. When view from ahead of you, or when view as prescribed 225 degrees of masthead lights. But in a high-speed craft, they have a different calculation. So this formula is even. I will not delve into it because this is more on a high-speed craft. Okay. Let's go back with Annex. Annex 1 and subsection. I have discussed already subsection 12 and subsection 13, and I'm now on the section 14 of Annex 1. Approval. The construction of lights and shapes and installation of lights on board the vessel shall be the satisfaction and the appropriate authority of the state whose flag the vessel is entitled to fly. What do you mean this one? Flag Bayang Magiliw? No. The vessel is registered to a certain country. It could be a Panama vessel, a Singapore vessel, NIS ko ba eh? NES, no? NIS, Norway vessel. It could be a Danish Copenhagen. Maybe it could be a flag of convenience, or it could be a Philippine vessel. Therefore, the construction of lights and shapes and the installation shall be subject to inspection because it's subject for the satisfaction. The state means a flag state authority. If it is a Panama flag, the Panama state, the flag state. We will send a Panamanian inspector or the flag state inspector, regardless of nationality, to your vessel when you are constructing a ship or making a revision in the dry dock, in order for them to approve. This is a very important provision. Fellow mariners, I have discussed already Annex 1 of the Collision Regulation of 1972, Colregs, and I have discussed Annex 1 subsections 1, actually sections 1 to 14 already. It is done in our very, very good animation.